Hi, everyone, and welcome to Vax Talks. I'm Brad Satin, joined today by Dr. Sina Bavari. He is the Chief Science Officer at Helion Bio, also the former Science Director at the U.S. Army Medical Research Institute of Infectious Diseases. Thanks so much for joining us today.
My pleasure being here.
Well, you know, because of COVID-19, of course, there's a lot of talk right now about vaccines. And today we want to talk about MRC5 cells. Can you tell us what they are?
MRC5s are obtained almost 60 years ago from fetal tissues and have been used to generate some vaccines or to do some preliminary work on some vaccines.
And what is all the controversy about?
Well, since they become from aborted fetuses, there are a lot of discussions about, is this feasible, ethical? Is it valid to use these type of cells in general? Besides MRC5, there are other cells that have been used also for developing vaccines.
I saw on social media a report that AstraZeneca's vaccine was using these MRC5 cells. Any truth to that?
No, there is no truth to that one. Actually, AstraZeneca does not use MRC5 to make their vaccines. Now, initially, as you're developing a vaccine or you're trying to discover it and figuring out what cells are used to actually expand your vaccine, sometimes there are MRC5 cells that are used in that case. However, for AstraZeneca vaccine, the current production that's going forward, they do not use MRC5.
So are any of the vaccines in the news today, the big ones, using these MRC5 cells?
Not to my knowledge, absolutely not to my knowledge. Now, beside this, fetal tissues have been used in biomedical research since 1930s. And they actually play a critical role in advancing medical science due to many unique properties that fetal tissues and cells have, and that adult cells just don't have. For this reason, this actually allows these cells to be very unique and in a way that they can actually perpetuate, for example, a virus that adult cells can't. So this is why in some cases, in some vaccines, fetal cells have been used to develop vaccines, such as measles vaccines, for example, rubella vaccines, and hepatitis A vaccines. They have used fetal cells and tissues to actually develop and expand their vaccines in it. So have fetal cells been used in development of vaccines? The answer is yes. And is MRC5 currently being used in current vaccines for SARS coronaviruses? The answer is absolutely not. The current leading vaccines, the mRNA vaccines from Pfizer and Moderna, they absolutely don't use this. So they're synthetic vaccines. So by definition, do not use MRC5 in the development and production.
So with all the medical breakthroughs over the years and over the decades, in fact, should there be an ethical debate about these cells?
My sense is there'll be always ethical debate about this. And it's not right or wrong. It's actually what is best for humanity in this case. And if you take the vaccines away from humanity, I think the danger would be far more than using these type of cells that were not intended when the fetus were aborted, were not really intended to be used 50 or 60 years later for these purposes.
Well, thanks so much for kind of setting the record straight, answering some questions about these cells. We appreciate your time, Dr. Bavari.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
And thank you for joining us today for this edition of Vax Talks. I'm Brad Satin.